Hey guys, welcome to Ignite Your Personal Brand Virtual Summit. I'm your host, Darlene Hawley, and I'm so excited to kick off 2019 with these powerful stories and trainings to help you create an authentic, magnetizing, and profitable brand and business. In this series, I'm interviewing amazing women who are sharing their story for why they started their journey into entrepreneurship, and they're sharing their top tips to make an impact on your bottom line to create a thriving business in 2019. And I am so excited for our guest today. She is a whiz of all things Facebook. Please help me welcome Jenn Possick. Hi, Jenn.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on with us. I'm excited to learn all your tips and see what you're going to share with us today. But before we dive into all that, tell us a little bit about you.
So I am a Facebook ads strategist, consultant, speaker, and I work with personal brands to help them grow an email list through Facebook and Instagram ads, because Facebook also owns Instagram, that will turn into quality leads and loyal clients.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about how you came on this path. What was it that got you interested in working with Facebook ads?
Yeah, so in basically the summer of 2014, my dad's health was not great. And my parents were introduced to a health and wellness product that had a really big impact on my dad's health. It took his morning blood sugar from 200 to 110 within about 3 months, which meant he didn't have to start taking insulin, which is awesome. He's been diabetic like as long as I've been alive. For my mom, it helped lower her cholesterol 72 points within a month. And my parents have been entrepreneurs also as long as I've been alive. So they decided to start sharing with everybody they knew about the product. And at that point, I decided to join them in the business. And I knew we needed an online presence, but I didn't really know much about digital marketing. So I just started learning everything I could from everywhere I could and applying it and figuring out what worked and what didn't and optimizing what worked. And along the way, I found that Facebook ads were really the most effective way for us to grow our business. So through working with them, I grew our email list to a little over 160,000 members. Yeah. And the Facebook ads that we ran for that was responsible for directly bringing in over 2 million in sales.
That's incredible. So you self-taught yourself through that process then?
I did. The one thing, it's funny because I just recently was kind of reflecting on that as I just launched a group coaching experience that we just started. And with that, I kind of realized, if I had known that there was the option to have a coach or work with somebody and really learn it all, I would have saved a lot of money and time from learning everything. But yeah,
you needed a you.
Yeah, I did. And at the time, I didn't really even know where to get started. I just knew I needed to learn stuff. So I just started listening to podcasts and reading blogs and eventually buying courses and stuff as well. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I know myself, I've done some Facebook ads and it's overwhelming, I thought. And I came to you to get some tips and ideas and stuff. And I couldn't even imagine if I had done that completely on my own. So hands down, you're amazing that you learned that all on your own. And what a blessing now, you're taking that information that you learned through that process and you're able to help coach other entrepreneurs to help them not have to struggle as much as you did, maybe with figuring out all the tips and tricks of it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Facebook ads, what do you see as kind of the biggest mistakes that business owners and entrepreneurs are making when they create their ads?
Yeah. So the biggest mistake, and I see so many people doing this, essentially it's not having a strategy when you're doing it, when you're running ads. But then it's also trying to sell to a cold audience. And so when I talk about a cold audience, it's just people that don't know you yet. And so I see that happen in a few ways. When people boost posts, it's 99% of the time a waste of money. And that's for a few reasons. But So typically, again, when you're boosting a post, it's going to a cold audience of people that don't know you. And you're running the ad to get engagement on the post instead of people to take the actual desired action. So usually, if you are running ads, you're wanting people to like sign up for your email list. But with a boosted post, the action that most people are going to take is to like or comment on the post. So those typically waste money. And then the other thing that I have a lot of people come to me with, especially when they're first like wanting to run ads, is they want to go directly for the sale. But the thing is, we buy from those we know, like, and trust. We don't buy from strangers or businesses that we know nothing about. And with the know, like, and trust factor, so the example that I really like to use, I feel a little bad because I give the business a little bit of a hard time. But if you have the choice to go to Target or Walmart, which one are you going to choose? And for myself, I know I will pick Target every time if that choice is available.
Every day, all day. I am totally with you on that one.
Yeah.
I call it Target. That way it sounds like it's even fancier than it is.
Right. Yeah, we went there the other day to buy literally like a little journal, like, a few dollars, and ended up spending over $200.
Easy to do every single time. It's almost up there with Costco and Sam's Club.
But yeah, so obviously it's like we know both Target and Walmart, but I assume you as well, like Target a lot more and trust Target's products a lot more. And so if you have that choice, we'll choose Target over Walmart. The same thing is true if you're buying from an individual as well. We buy from those we know, those we like, and those we trust. So with that, our job on Facebook or really any type of online marketing is to warm people up, grow that know, like, and trust factor, and then retarget for the sale. So you're not selling directly. You're not selling the very first time somebody hears about you. You need to give people a chance to get to know more about who you are.
Yeah, you have to have that touch system. People, like, you have to nurture them and love on them and let them see who you are, let them get to know you a little bit, because it's so true. Like, I've never bought something online from somebody that I just met that very first time, or if I see that ad that one time, I might research it and get to know them and watch and see how they do business. But it's definitely something where that warm audience is a much more comfortable place to buy from when you feel like you know them already.
Absolutely. And that's what cultivates the people where it's like the loyal clients that, like, anytime you put something out there, you know that, like, they want to buy because they want whatever it is that you have to offer.
Yeah. It's that repeat business, because once they know you, like you, and trust you, you're in, which is exactly a great thing, especially in the online space, because it can be harder than a face-to-face interaction to get to know, like, and trust, because we're behind computers where we only see so much. So that's why I love when people start opening up and sharing a little bit more about themselves and kind of the backstory to their business and why they do it and what their purpose is, and don't just sell, like they actually give you more to get to know them by.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the other part of it is, so 80% of sales take 5 to 12 touch points. And a touch point is just like a point of contact. Like, and there's lots of ways that you can get lots of touch points. So like your Facebook ads are a touch point, your website, your emails, your Facebook group, any videos that you make, if you have a podcast, there's lots of ways to get lots of touch points. But it goes back to, some people will buy, a small percentage will buy the very first time they hear about something. But again, 80% of sales take 5 to 12 touch points. So it takes that time to really hear about something multiple times.
Yeah. So with Facebook ads, then how can you build that know, like, trust factor and make that audience go from cold to warm? What's your strategy when it comes to doing that?
Yeah. So with that, there's a few different strategies that I will use. And so sometimes it will be where I'll warm them up a little bit in advance with either a video or with a blog post, where it's not starting with an opt-in. So it's just warming them up and then retargeting people that have clicked to the blog post or watched a percentage of the video. Or it's starting off with your lead magnet, with your freebie, your opt-in, and making sure that it's something of high value, that's easily consumable, that is something that people actually want so that it actually makes sense for them to get. And so it's starting with the lead magnet. And with the lead magnet, one of the things is, so running a Facebook ad to the lead magnet. And the whole point of the Facebook ad is to get people to click to the landing page. When they get to the landing page, you want it to be super simple, easy to follow, where it's not like there's just one call to action. The only thing that you want them to do is to sign up for the lead magnet. Making sure that you're tracking it so that with the Facebook pixel, so that you are able to see when somebody signs up. So you've got it connected to a thank you page. And then delivering your lead magnet with your first email in a series of emails designed to allow people to know more about you and to grow that know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah, and I completely agree, because the goal is to get them on your email list, because we don't own Facebook, we don't own Instagram, we don't own those social media platforms, but we own our email list. So if Facebook goes down for the day, which happens occasionally, or different things like that happen, it's nice to know that you have those email lists and you still have your audience that you can talk to and share information with and add value to. And then once you have them on that list, I loved how you talked about having that welcome email and then kind of nurturing. I like to have like a 3 to 5 email series once somebody opts into something. That way they can really get to know who you are. Because it is a cold audience. The first time they opt in, a lot of times it's maybe a first or second or third touch, but they don't know who you are. So it's kind of your chance to just kind of love on them and nurture them, kind of walk them down the path to get to know you. You don't have to marry them yet, but you can share who you are, kind of what you do, why you do it, and then also get a chance to have them engage back with you and get to know who they are as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything you said is spot on, because you're right. We don't own Facebook. Facebook's algorithm is always changing and making it so that our posts on our business page are less and less seen. And so taking them off of Facebook and onto your email list, you own your email list. So you can email your list at any point in time. And so it's a much more effective way than just getting them to like the page and then hoping that then they engage with your page after that.
Yeah. So what are some top tips? Like, what are the best types of ads to run, or the best way to market to that space? Because I know a lot of newer business owners, or even some that are experienced, have a hard time creating the right type of ad or getting people to actually click through.
Yeah. A couple things. First off, you want to make sure when you are first running the ad, you want to make sure that you are choosing the best objective. And the reason for that, so Facebook's algorithm is brilliant. It basically is this kind of like this living thing, because it's always learning and getting smarter, and it knows way too much about us. But
scary.
scary and also helpful as
brilliant. Yeah.
As a business owner, because it's definitely both. But one of the things that it knows, which I think is so important to us as advertisers, as business owners, is it knows how we use Facebook. So it knows who's most likely to scroll, who's most likely to watch a video, who's most likely to click, and who's most likely to convert. And so the very first thing is, when you go to run your ad, you have to set the objective. And there's lots of different objectives you can set. So you can do an objective for engagement, meaning you want people to engage on your post. You could do one for video views. You want people to watch a percentage of your video. And with that, you can set it to 3 seconds, which they changed it. So it's 2-second video views, which I'm not sure why you would optimize for that. 10-second video views, which I think is better. Or there's a brand new one called View Through, which is designed to get people to watch the full video. You can do messages ads where you want to start a conversation in Messenger. You can do traffic where you want somebody to click a link, which is great if you are running ads to a blog post that you want people to read because you want to retarget them. But if you want somebody to sign up for your email list and the ad is to your email list, and traffic is not going to be as cost effective as an ad for conversions. So conversions simply means you want somebody to convert onto your email list or as a buyer. So 90% of the time, the ads that I'm going to be running are going to be ads for conversions. So that's the first thing. In order to run ads for conversions, though, you also have to have your Facebook pixel in place. And the Facebook pixel, it's just a little piece of HTML code that is able to track where somebody is. So you want to have the regular pixel on your landing page so that you can track when people click to your landing page. But then you also want to have like a lead pixel on the thank you page after somebody has signed up for your lead magnet so that you're able to track when somebody signs up. Now, the only time that I would say this is an exception is if you have a business where you're like selling something on Etsy or selling something on Amazon. If it's not your own website, you don't have back-end access, you're not able to add a Facebook pixel.
Yeah.
In that case, you would have to run it for traffic. But as long as you own the platform that you're running it on, if it's to a WordPress website or if it's to a MailChimp landing page or an Infusionsoft landing page, you have the access to go in and add your Facebook pixel. So yeah, that's a big part. Is a lot of times I see people not choosing the best objective to start off with, and that right there saves you a lot of money just by being able to track it properly.
So if somebody listening to this has no idea what a Facebook pixel is, where is that something that you teach clients is what a pixel is, or how do you?
Yeah, I think I actually even have a blog post about your Facebook pixel. I'll find the link for that. But if you Google it and you Google Facebook pixel, the first thing that should show up should be articles directly from Facebook that tell more about it and how to find it. But essentially, you go to your ads manager to find your pixel. And it's a little bit different how you place it on every platform. There's two different ways. So there's the base pixel, which is just a bunch of digits, or there is your pixel code, which is more like HTML, like actual coding. And so it depends on what platform you're using. For example, using Lead Pages, which I use, you put in the full pixel, the full HTML. But then on my WordPress website, I use a plugin called Pixel Cat that I just have to put in the little pixel ID. So the best advice that I would give is to Google how to place your Facebook pixel using like on my WordPress website, or how to place your Facebook pixel on my MailChimp landing page. Whatever stuff you use, just Google it and there will be a video, an article, there will be information about how to place it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, because I know when I first started hearing about the word pixel, I was completely overwhelmed because I'm only so much tech savvy. And I was like, what's a pixel and how do I get it? And how do I figure out what to do with it once I have it?
Right.
So, it's a little overwhelming sometimes.
It definitely can be confusing. And once it's there and it just runs automatically. And it's Googleable.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we talked about kind of creating a Facebook page or ad that's going to actually convert. We've talked about some Facebook pixels. You also mentioned having them go direct to your email list and then sending them to a funnel to kind of go through a sequence. What are your top tips for making sure that you engage with, or that you're able to nurture on your your new client, or what's the word I want? Like interest. You have captured in through that way. What are your top ways that you like to have your clients nurture on them?
Yeah, that's a good question. So consistency is definitely up there
Yes.
for yeah, making sure that you're consistent. And that starts with like having a few emails that they get automatically, but then continuing to follow up with them because sometimes a new lead, they might be ready to purchase right away, but there's also people that it'll be 6 months or a year before they're actually ready to buy from you. And it depends on where they're at in their business or at in their life, depending on what you offer, right?
Yeah.
So consistency is definitely a big one. Recently, one thing that I've been doing that I've found to be pretty effective. So I used to, when I would write blog posts, I would send out an email that gave just a little bit of the blog post and then with a link to have them click over. And
Yeah.
instead, what I've been doing for the last few months is I just put the whole blog post, I'll still put it up on my blog, but I'll put the whole blog post content in that email because if the whole point, depending on what the point is, if I really just want traffic to my website because I want to retarget them, that's different. But if I want them to actually take action, I want them to respond to me, like I want it to be I want it to be more of a conversation. Oh, sorry about that. Are you still there? Okay.
Yeah, we're here.
If you want it to be more of a conversation, oh, am I frozen on your end?
Yeah, you froze.
Hang on, let me stop my video and see if I can get it to come back up.
There
Okay.
you are.
Woo,
Yay.
sorry.
That's all right. It happens all the time.
So if you want it to be more of a conversation, yeah, I've just been putting the entire content in there so that they don't have to click anywhere. They can just keep reading and then respond to me at the end. And I've found that to be more effective for getting for getting responses and getting people to read the whole thing.
Yeah, well, you're engaging at a totally different level than when you're sending them away to your website. Because I've tested and measured it both ways too. Because I did the same thing. I used to give a snippet, or maybe like even write a paragraph or two, and say go to my website or hit this link to go to my blog and finish reading it there. And then I also have been doing it the same way as you, where I've been adding it all to the newsletter. And you're right, they're able to engage more. It's an easier conversation. They're not having to leave and click off to go other places.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I've been doing the same thing also with making them also as Facebook posts, where I'll kind of start the headline of the email as like the beginning of my Facebook post to kind of draw them in, and put the whole thing in there. And I'll do it separately as a post on my business page, separately to my personal page, and then also, to my Facebook group. And that I've found to be pretty effective as well, just because, and I used to always say like, well, you can always share from your business page to your personal page, but I think Facebook seems to be kind of not sharing stuff that you share from your business page as much. Like they're not giving it as much reach as just a post to your personal page. So I've found that it's a bit better to just post it, and not even worry as much about making sure that people are seeing it on my business page.
yeah, because they're going to know how to find you anyways, because a lot of times if they're on your personal side in your business, they know kind of what you do and they know how to get in touch with you if they need to as well for that. And I think that's a big learning curve for a lot of us. I've noticed is I used to have my stuff go from, say, I'd post on Instagram and then it would go over to my business page. And I was noticing that the algorithm wasn't picking it up as much. People weren't seeing it as much. So I do the same thing now where I post, I'll write my email, that goes to my email list. And then I'll do a separate post for Instagram. And then maybe later that day or the next day, I'll post it on Facebook. That way it's showing up kind of at different times of day.
Right.
If people are popping on at 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, whenever that is, like there's a chance that they might catch it on Instagram or they might catch it on my Facebook page. That way, because at first I was just doing all of them at the exact same time. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of hitting the mark or missing the mark here because people are checking in on those platforms at totally different times of day. So trying to figure out when your audience is online for Instagram or Facebook or those areas has helped a little bit too with
Nice.
getting some different engagement.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
So as we kind of wrap things up with this, share some of like your top tips. Like if we do nothing else after listening to this virtual summit series on Facebook, like what are the top things that you think that we need to do as business owners to make a real big impact to our bottom line and kind of help ourselves grow and nurture and get that audience into our newsletter list?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is figuring out how you can warm up your audience and give them value. Warm them up with value and then retarget them. And so if you're figuring out what type of lead magnet to do, so here's what I will say. It needs to make sure, it needs to be directly related to your core offer. So that it's like, it just leads them into it. You need to make sure that it is easily consumable. And I am so guilty of not having easily consumable lead magnets. I've had to really like scale back because I try to give everything all at once. And it's too much for people, especially when it's like an introduction, right? So 5 to 10 minutes, easily consumable. Yeah. And something that is of value, something that your ideal audience is really going to want.
Yeah. And I agree. You want to have it as kind of like a 0.5 of like your first step for what you do with your business, because really it's just a place to get them in so that they can get a taste of what you do. And then you can kind of lead them through that experience of how you work with your clients or what it is that you do so that they can get to know you and like you and trust you during that process. And you're not just selling all in one place, and you're not just giving away the whole entire farm. That way you have a chance to go, okay, you got a taste of it. Now this is how I work with my clients, and this is why, we might make a great fit to work together long term.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love that. And then I know you have a special gift for everybody who's involved with the summit. Tell us a little bit about this amazing gift that you're giving us.
I do. Yeah. So I have a free guide. It's my roadmap to profitable Facebook ads. And it walks you through all the different pieces of running effective Facebook ads. So from creating your lead magnet to your landing page and your thank you page, and all the way down the line of what you need in order to run ads that are going to be effective. Great.
Thank you so much for that gift. I know it's going to help a lot of our audience just with creating those Facebook ads. And I know some of my clients have been a little bit fearful of, spending money in a place where if you do it the wrong way, you don't want to just pay Facebook and
right.
Get rich. You want to make sure that you're able to pull those clients in off of it as well. So finding that balance too, of knowing how much to spend and we didn't touch on it, but I know testing and marketing your Facebook ad too. Like, don't just create the Facebook ad and put it out there. Like, definitely, I know you've taught me to like test and measure a little bit, make sure it's working, make sure the picture is the right picture, you have the right words, people are actually going to the opt-in, they're clicking in, like test all those factors before you spend a ton of money on Facebook ads, because if you do it wrong, you can definitely
lose
a lot of money. So I know that your tips have been invaluable to all of us watching today.
Yeah. And you're so right. Yeah. Everything with Facebook, it's all about testing. And typically if you start running an ad, within 48 to 72 hours, you should start seeing some results. And the cool thing about Facebook ads though, is you don't have to spend a lot of money up front. You can test with, spending like $10 a day on different ads to see what's going to work, what's going to be effective, and then scale or stop whatever is not working.
So good. Thank you so much, Jenn. Tell everybody how they can connect with you and stay in touch with you moving forward. Where do you like to hang out?
Well, Facebook.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know, surprise. I'm on Instagram a little bit, but mostly Facebook. And all of my stuff, it's at Jenn Possick, JENNPOSSICK.
Perfect. And I will make sure that all the links are below. So if you're watching this video, just check out down below and connect and find Jenn, because she's a resource of so much information. And I know that I've learned so much today. So thank you, Jenn, so much for being on with us.
My pleasure. Thank you again for having me.